This video is not for persons under the age of 13. By watching this video, you are declaring that you are above 13 years of age. Hello and welcome to today's video. What I'm looking at today is a little experiment that I was playing with. Just the materials in this case. What I was making is something like that. Now this is graphite, but in a block form, but it's not ordinary graphite, it's water soluble graphite. Now normally, unless it's specially made, graphite is very water resistant. It is not water soluble. Most pencils and other graphite blocks aren't, unless they're made to be that way. So I thought I'd have a go at making my own graphite block that's water soluble, just for a bit of fun. And these are the things that I ended up coming out with. Now, just an overview. I'm not going to go through the full process at the moment, but just an overview. The first thing you need is some graphite. As you can see, that's loose graphite. Now, where did I get that? Well, you can actually buy loose graphite, but when I sharpen pencils like this, the solid pencils, you get a lot of sharpenings. And what you do is you just sharpen it into a little container like that, and they build up over time. And that gives you your graphite that you need. So I'll just put that to one side. Now, it's not that dissimilar putting it together to make this. We're making watercolour paints. A binder. This is a binder. Gum arabic. So if this powder isn't particularly ground down enough, you can always put it in a pestle and mortar and ground it down to the desired level. Once you've got it to the desired level, that's where you do your mixing with this. And I don't know whether it's absolutely necessary, but I've also added some ox gall to it. Another thing that's not absolutely necessary, but helped me make a different colour to it, is a tiny amount of this white gouache. And what that does is in comparison, if I can get them to, you can see the different colours, and that's because it's got a little bit of a little bit of gouache in it. And not only from pencil sharpenings, and you can use traditional pencil sharpenings, you just have to be careful with the wood section. Other things that you can use is little odds and ends from mechanical pencils, or last little bits that you can't use from bigger graphite bullets. So let's move some of these things off and start having a look at some of the qualities that this thing has and whether it works or not. So we're left with, made that a bit mucky, but don't really matter. What we will need is a brush, obviously, and some water. I'm going to move this over here a little bit so we've got space, and then just to show that I'm not cheating in any way, if I can find some general standard graphite, is some graphite in this pencil here. There you go. Laid down a bit of graphite. I'm going to get my brush now. When you're using things like graphite with water, and by the way, this is watercolour paper, 300 grams, £140 knot. So when you look at it, it really isn't doing an awful lot. It's pretty much resisting it. In contrast, here's what I was able to do with the water soluble block that I made. You can, it was drawn on, and you can push the graphite about and weaken it quite a bit. Let's just show you that. If I can find it, there it is. Just put an application in there, and you don't need an awful lot of water. I think that's the key with water soluble graphite and water soluble pencils that say that the watercolour pencils. And this is dissolving. In this particular case it might take a bit to dissolve, and it has slightly different results on different papers as well. But as you can see, it's definitely altering. So let's see if we can do some kind of picture or bit of artwork. I'm not going to be long with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use it almost like a watercolour block. Get a good application on it. Let's see if I can do. If you don't already know, I'm doing what they call a Loomis head. Which helps us proportion the human face. Right. There you go. You get the idea. We've got a face forming really. See if I can. I'm just really rapidly doing this. Now, if I wanted to, let's see if I can make that a little bit darker. And look how it's acting. And all of that is dissolvable. See if I can now do some dry work onto here. So you can apply it in several different ways, and look how thicker I don't know whether I'll be able to get that off, to be honest with you. It's that thicker application now. Oh, it has. There you go. And you can get some really interesting applications and textures with stuff like that. With graphite that's water soluble. There you go, there's my artwork for the day. I think that's a fairly successful test really. I might tweak certain things, the various different chemicals and how much you put in there and how much you don't put in, but obviously I did it in one of these. They literally go in there and pour your solution in there, and it's slow, and you could build it up. But if I were to make one properly, I'd make a mould for it, like the size of a crayon or a Conti crayon or something like that, or even a bigger block, and then pour it slowly but surely in. It would take several pours, but that's how they do it with watercolour paints as well. Several, because that went right to the top of that, and look how much it shrunk back. So you have to take that into account. But there you go, there's my little experiment I wanted to try and have a go at. I hope it's been informative for you. If you do want me to show you the full process of making these, I can do. Put some info in the comments and tell me what you think. Please like the video, and also if you're not subscribed to me, please do so. And we'll see you in another video soon. Bye all.